Hello and welcome to the Wolfchase Toyota Insider, the Memphis Tiger Network. I'm Jeff Brightwell alongside Richard Mulrooney. And Coach, you come off a non-conference match and a conference match over the last week. Let's start it out with the 2-2 draw at UCA.
Yeah, it was a game that we started off a little bit slow. The game conditions got changed. We were supposed to play at night. They knew a thunderstorm was coming in, so we moved it to 2 o'clock in the afternoon, which ended up being for the better. They got really bad. I don't know if we would have gotten the game in to say that. So we started off at 2. Guys did okay. But unfortunately, it was just an up and down game. I mean, the game probably could have ended up 6-5, 6-6. Both teams had numerous opportunities to score more goals. Obviously, we had a PK save. Their keeper made some good saves. So all in all, it's probably a fair result. It was a game that I wish we could have gotten a little bit more out of, but midweek game, knowing that it's sandwiched between 2 conference games, you got to be careful with your players and the minutes that they get. But at the same time, UCA is a solid team. They have been the last couple of years. Ross has done a good job there. So while you always long for more and want that win, I'm glad it wasn't a loss. So a tie probably was a fair result, but at the same time, get through that and start preparing for the weekend against SMU.
And those are always odd circumstances. You see it in soccer, you see it in baseball and softball, where you might have to bump up a game without a lot of notice. And it's just a different type of match you play because you can't go through your regular routine. The usual crowd's not there. The stuff that surrounds the match isn't there. It's almost like a fall scrimmage. You have to kind of create the energy.
Absolutely. It sort of felt like, a spring match. We, for close trips, like to within 2 or 3 hours, Lipscomb, UCA, we drive up that morning. So we obviously had to bump up our bus time a little bit more. Usually we go to a hotel to rest for a little bit, but UCA was very accommodating. We got to stay in their locker room, in their gymnasium. So all in all, there was no excuses other than we just didn't necessarily play as well as we wanted to, but the guys battled back to get that 2-2 draw. And like I said, to take a loss there, confidence-wise, it would have been a little devastating, but we were able to see ourselves out of there with a draw and get on the road.
Took a loss to SMU over the weekend. That's usually one of the perennial conference contenders and usually a top 25 caliber team.
Yeah, obviously Kevin had them very well prepared. Just all in all, I think they physically beat us down. They mentally played better than us, and individually we didn't show up. And we put all those 3 together, it's usually a loss. And that's not to say we had a couple opportunities, but all in all, I've got to give SMU the credit. They came in and did what they had to do. Got the early goal, and then going into halftime 1-0 down, we changed things up because whether you lose 3-0 or 1-0, a loss is a loss. So we changed our formation, trying to energize the guys a little bit, try to get that goal back. They got a second one, and then obviously it capped on a third. So, wasn't necessarily our best night. It was disappointing just because it was a conference match and 3 points and 6-point swing between us and SMU, if you look at it that way. But at the end of the day, like I said, I think it was a match that the guys can probably look and say, you know what, we've got to do better than that moving into our last 3 conference matches, and I'm hoping the guys respond positively to that.
This weekend you're going to go to Oklahoma to play Tulsa, and with the weather now changing in the fall, I imagine you'll be dealing with some conditions, at least the wind.
Yeah, it'll be probably a little bit breezy on their field, but having said that, we've played in different conditions this year already, so we won't use that as an excuse, but it's something that we've got to prepare for, whether you're with the wind the first half or the second half, or it's going sideways. But at the end of the day, Tulsa's always a tough team. They've had our number the past couple of years. Tom does a good job of prepping against us, and last year obviously they put a whooping on us on our home field, and I think the guys remember that, and not that there's revenge, but knowing that this is a tough game, but it's a game that I feel as though we can get points out of. I think we can play well enough, and if we can rebound from this SMU game, which I'm sure we will. We obviously had the week off, no midweek game, which is big, got the guys some rest. Head into Tulsa and obviously just sort of see where the cards fall. But knowing I'm going to get a couple guys back from injury, knowing that, obviously we just took a lesson against SMU, you put all that together and we're very positive going into this game.
No midweeks this week, but next week on Tuesday you will have a midweek against Lipscomb.
Yep, always our usual annual matchup against Lipscomb. We go there in the spring or they come here. We play them in the fall, obviously. And again, Charles is a team that they know us very well. We know them very well, so there'll be no surprises. And to be honest with you, they have conference matches going on too. I'm sure they'll be prepared for us, but at the same time, it's one of those games where it's not necessarily about the X's and O's, it's about the Bobs and the Joes, about just showing up, competing, and matching their level. But at the same time, it's a matter of finishing our opportunities, and usually the team that finishes their opportunities more, just like in most soccer games, gets the result in that game. But again, we'll focus on that after this game at Tulsa. But obviously, the coaching staff is prepared to head to Lipscomb that Tuesday and hopefully get a result.
To wrap things up and quickly back to conference, you sit in 5th place right now, and there's only limited conference matches in this league. There's 3 to go. So right now, you can kind of go either way. So these conference matches are huge right now.
It is. I think it's maybe sealed, not necessarily fully, that we probably won't be hosting it, finishing number 1, but that's not to say we still can't finish 2nd, 3rd, or 4th. Or, you win all your games, you sort of control your own fate. But having said that, we take it match by match, and as we've seen in the past, it usually goes into the last weekend with parity of this team's going to be hosting it, this team's playing to get in, this team, if they lose, is out. I mean, there's so many scenarios to play. It's just a matter of focusing on game by game, and our focus right now is at Tulsa and to get 3 points and no worse than a point, knowing that we sit in a decent spot and would be making the playoffs as of today. But so many things can change up until that last game versus USF.
All right, Coach, thanks a lot.
Anytime.
That's Richard Maroney. I'm Jeff Brightwell with the Wolfchase Toyota Insider on the Memphis Tiger Network.